Shalom to all our precious viewers all across the diaspora, especially the Guyanese, as we celebrate our 55 years of independence. As a nation, we almost started at the bottom. Thanks be to God who has blessed us and placed us where we are today. We still have a far way to go. Guyana is a blessed nation with enormous wealth, such as gold, diamond, minerals, timber, bauxite, oil. These are just a few. I take this opportunity to appeal to all our leaders, whether political, church leaders, leaders in our homes, communities, or elsewhere. Let us unite, put our personal differences behind us, and work for the benefit of all, fulfilling our national motto, one people, one nation, one destiny. Our motto in our fellowship is together we achieve the extraordinary. We would love to have this spread in our entire nation. One of the national songs, I'll just repeat it quick apart. All hail to Guyana, our country now free. One people, one nation, one destiny. We pledge every effort, we'll cherish this sport and make here a paradise land of our board. We want to say thanks to you, our viewers, for being with us week after week. Our prayer is that God would continue to bless you and also beautiful Guyana. Stay with us and we guarantee you that you will be blessed. Welcome again.
It is a good thing to give thanks. And the word of God in 1 Thessalonians 5 says, give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you in Christ Jesus. So we should never live this life without expressing gratitude to people who particularly may have been performing various roles that keep our society together. And today we want to give thanks to God for some persons in particular. We want to give God thanks for our nurses and our doctors, those frontline workers, those who continue to execute their jobs with the greatest degree of efficiency, notwithstanding we're operating in a pandemic. You know, very senior education officer told me that for her daughter, they're living in the same house. And when her daughter comes home, there are times when, based upon what happens in the hospital, the COVID hospital, she has the daughter bathes in the yard, take off her clothes before actually entering the house. Think about us having to, you know, persons having to live like that and still go to work the next day because that is what they do. So our nurses and doctors and all those who have been working in this pandemic in the medical field, we want to give thanks to them. We want to give thanks to our economists, the engineers and power brokers, and those who plan and organize budgets and ensure that a country remains stable. We want to thank those persons. In the midst of the pandemic, we have heard that Guyana has been, there's this expectation that the economy will grow, although we're in a pandemic, and there are people who have to watch over this growth process by doing different things. You know, we've discovered oil, and persons have to engage in activities and strike deals and arrangements so that we could benefit from our resources. We heard about gold and diamond. So we want to really say thanks to those persons and to God for the kinds of resources that He has placed within our grasp in this country. You know, in some countries, people are dying as a result of COVID and the lack of vaccines. We want to give God thanks, and we want to thank God for the visionary leadership that we've had in this country by way of our president and his followers, this cabinet, as to how they've been, you know, instituting laws and making decisions in relation to the survival of the people of this nation. And we want to give thanks also for those persons who decide that they're going to take the vaccine and so help in alleviating the kind of problems that we could face so our children could get back into the school system. So it is a good thing to give thanks, and for all those persons who would have been contributing to the development of this nation in a significant way, we want to say thank you.
I want to thank God for the work of the Apostle Paul when he wrote in 2 Timothy to the young man Timothy. He made a very unique statement that said that he wanted to thank God with a clear conscience, the way his forefathers did. And that little phrase, the way his forefathers did, signaled his acknowledgement that he was actually standing on the shoulders of those who went before him. It is amazing that sometimes we attempt to go forward without recognizing and giving due recognition that there's no way we could start where we are starting if the fundamental work was not done, if the groundwork was not done, the foundation was not laid, if there were not persons who would have made sacrifices before us. And it is in that spirit that real root growth really takes place, because you get a chance to not just recognize that you're standing higher than when you first began, but you're standing on the shoulders that have gone before you. You know, Bishop Messiah is in this program, and I will forever remember and say thanks to him. As I came into the city, country boy coming to Georgetown to live, decided to live 2 years in Lamar Gardens. And then I remember having to move, and I was contemplating seriously to return to the East Coast. And he asked me, Winston, why not try to get a property in the city? And I said to him, but Bishop, I can't afford it. I'm sure he remembers that conversation. And we went on like if we were bantering. Winston, you haven't tried. But Bishop, I can't afford it. But Winston, you haven't tried. But Bishop, I can't afford it. But Winston, you haven't tried. But I can't afford it. So today, as I look back, how God has helped myself and family along the way, I can't help but saying thanks to him for laying that foundation. Folks see me and they say, oh, himself and Karen are doing well, fine. But there is a foundation that was laid before. And today, I want to say thanks to him. I want to say thanks to all those who have played no small part in all of our development. And if we really take that, we recognize that even our academic success, those who drive us, and I love the church leaders. I love people like pastors. I love, for example, Bishop Messiah. I forgive me calling his name. I'm using him as a premier example, and several others who push you and say, yes, you can do it. Try a little harder. Yes, you can make it. Go again. Press on, press on. And it is that kind of encouragement that has made us, many of us, who we are today. And it is important for us to say thank you. God, thanks. And thank you for these men and women.
Thank you, Reverend Asana. Like you, I want to say thank you to Bishop Messiah on behalf of the set of choices for your visionary leadership, especially during this pandemic. We admire the way how you continue to work with young men and women as you empower them, they empower us to examine the various online platforms and look how it has been a blessing, not only for our fellowship, but for the entire world, where men and women can hear the gospel. And so hats off to you. I also want to thank the hundreds of volunteers who volunteered their service, their skills and time to churches, to community centers, to health centers, to ensure that people are sanitized, their temperatures are checked. Sometimes they stand for hours, just ensuring that we do the right thing all the time. I also want to thank our farmers who ensure that they continue to produce so that we can eat, and not only eat, but eat healthy and ensure that our immune system is doing well. And finally, I'd like to thank my own family, my dear wife, my mom, my siblings, extended family, for the continuous support and the love that we continue to experience even while we are in this pandemic, the responsibility that we take to watch out for each other. So, Guyana, let's continue to thank each other. Thank that neighbor, thank that friend. Give your friend a call today and just say thanks.
Let me join this group in saying thanks. We want to thank God for our teachers, our students who continue to excel. The Caribbean is an amazing place. And as we watch year after year after year, our students, irrespective of which high school over the last several years they're from, whether it be what they call the premier high school in the country. But even that title is being wonderfully challenged with good reason from schools in the Essequibo schools and in Region 3 and schools, even other schools in Region 4. The good thing, the end result is we have students who are not just excelling, but who are topping the Caribbean at the CSEC and at the Cape. We want to thank those students. We want to thank their entire support system, like their parents, who, in very many instances, is like if the parents are themselves writing the exams, and they push them, they sacrifice, they spend late hours in the night, in the morning, they transport their children, they prepare good meals for them, they create an enabling environment for them to rest. What about the teachers? You know, sometimes teachers, um, your job might appear thankless. In my family, we have a teacher. She said she wanted to teach since she could speak, and we are amazed that we allowed um, this child to move in that direction, and she continues to excel. You know, she's a teacher overseas where she lives, and she's doing a remarkable job. Pardon me saying that. So we want to thank all those teachers, whether you teach in the city, you teach in the country, and during this pandemic, you continue to prepare your charges. You continue to put yourself at risk. You continue, even the parents, allowing those children who are writing exams. And we would not allow the Dr. Hudson to do this because we want to know that we want you to know this is from our heart. You know, we haven't been rehearsed on this matter. And I'm so happy that the idea didn't come from him, but he can certainly agree with what we're saying. We want to thank the education officers. We want to thank the shopman who give credit to the family who might have been out of money at the point in time, so that those children will be able to get what they needed to write the exam. It's amazing story. And I imagine what we are saying is that we want to thank you, Guyana, uh, and and that entire system, that network working together, students, parents, education officials, officials from all over, support systems in the community. Even I went into the community and they said, if you want, we wanted to do a recording of choices in the community. And we were told as we were minding the community, they said to us, if you want to have 1 hour where you don't have any noise, you have to go to these two houses. And they pointed out this house and that house. So we asked, why is it you have to go to those two houses? Because they play music for the entire community every night. You know, whether they alternate or whatever, they play music, their personal music loud. And we went to both homes and we spoke with these community musicians and, you know, they community DJs, and they agreed we will give you 1 hour. and we were able to do a recording. So we want to say thanks. There's a tremendous amount of cooperation taking place right across. So, but the teachers and parents and education officials and all the others, thank you very much for allowing these young Guyanese students to fly our flag high, and we will not continue. The region, I am sure they're saying, what are they eating in Guyana? What are they doing in Guyana? We are a people of gratitude, and we are working hard, and we know how to say thanks.
I also like to thank all of the actors and leaders and managers within the private sector who took up the opportunity to exercise their corporate social responsibility over the last few months. Some of them did work when it came to contributing to hampers to different communities. Some of them offered specialty services to bring people back up and to get themselves back on their feet, especially with such a dramatic transaction or such a dramatic transition to a digital world. And I'd like to thank those leaders who were able to bring hope back, because early in the pandemic, many of us started to lose hope. Many of us started to doubt that we'd be able to survive this period. And many of us were even thinking that, it's taking too long, we just have to bounce back. But leaders out there, many of them in the church, many of them even outside of the church, decided, you know what, we will survive together and we will grow together. And this is just a small period and we'll move forward. So that's the extent of my gratitude. And on a note of academic excellence, Guyana really stands out across the Caribbean and across the world when it comes to academic excellence. And I'd like to thank teachers. Like when I was in school, I used to struggle with mathematics. At a point in time, I had two different maths lessons teachers, one in the morning and one in the night. And no matter how much they tried to help me, it didn't reflect. It took a long time to reflect. So, but teachers, those kind of teachers stayed there. They helped, they continued to show their dedication, and they were able to help a student like me who was completely hopeless in mathematics to at least achieve a favorable passing grade at CXC. So teachers like that, in a period like this, they've been able to demonstrate their loyalty and dedication, not only to just going to school and doing their job, but dedicating their energies towards the happiness and prosperity of all Guyanese. So I'd like to shout out on those teachers.
You're making an important point there, Martin. Sometimes, we at fault as a people, we focus only on the curricula that the teacher is meant to teach. But I want to thank teachers for their time in counseling, their time they bring sometimes food for the less fortunate children to school, providing snacks, counseling not only students, but sometimes parents also who are much older than they are. I want to thank teachers for resolving conflict. I want to thank teachers for those who look over the students' shoulders, examine their bags, ensuring or sometimes destroying things that should not be in those bags. I want to thank teachers who spend time to visit with their students, to go even to homes and talk with parents. I want to thank teachers who have seen and continue to see beyond the 5 years that the child or children spend in school, to see a future for them and to encourage them to strive. I want to thank teachers for those students who might have been falling through the cracks and who held their hands and lift them up. And I want to thank teachers. I want to thank my teachers and those who played a significant role in my life. I can say, without fear of contradiction, I can recite almost all our national songs. I might not be able to sing them as well as Pastor Benjamin can, but my patriotic instinct would allow me to sing, and I dare anybody correct me that I'm singing off beat. I'm a patriot. But, it goes back to teachers. Friday morning, I can remember at St. Ambrose School, which is now Sandwood Primary School, Friday morning, we spent time with Mr. Tucker, who taught us national songs.
And so I just want to say thanks to the teachers. Continue to do a great job. And you know, two of my favorite lines in My Guyana El Dorado, it says, My Guyana El Dorado, best of all the world to me. God bless you, teachers.
Well,
Thank you, Dr. Lee.
I can't stay out of this one. I mean, those teachers did a remarkable job in getting Dr. Lee to learn the poetry, the lyrics of these amazing national songs. By heavens, we need to get a teacher to teach him how to sing.
Indeed, Bishop. Dr. Lee, thank you for that. And on that note, I would like to say thanks to all the servicemen, military and the paramilitary. You have given exemplary service throughout the years. Even if you're retired now, you served well. Your decisions that you make in the heat of the moment cannot be explained, and only you could know when and why. Only you in the moment can decide what to do and what not to do. Sometimes those decisions are quarterbacked, or as we say, armchair general after the fact. But what we want to say in this program today, we want to change that culture. We want to say thanks. We want to say thanks for your service. Sometimes you're away from your families for years. Sometimes you're called at any time of the day or night. Sometimes you've planned an outing with your families. And then guess what? The boss called, or an emergency arrives, or arose in some cases, and you have to leave and go. I know. We want to say thanks. We also want to say thank you to the citizens of Guyana. The set that were on callous, the set that were caring, the set that chose not to go to the secret parties, the set that stayed home, the set that obeyed the laws and regulations that were given by the government that we elected, the set that were obedient. Hear what Paul said in Galatians 6:9. And let us not grow weary while doing good. I'll go that again. And let us not grow weary while doing good. For in due season we shall reap if we do not lose heart. So yes, person may be saying, he or she is like this, but let us not grow weary in well-doing, for in due season we will reap. Continue to serve. Thank you.
To my colleagues that are listening to my colleagues, I would like to say thank you to those young men and women that are going through school, that are going to university. Some of you may be in single parent homes, and you may be struggling with your academics and your spiritual life. Just know that there are people that care for you, and learn how to appreciate where you are right now. Being thankful is knowing that what you have is enough, and having a quiet optimism that God will provide that which you lack. So I would like to be thankful for you. You may not have the A grade, you may not have the distinction, but you have a 2, or you're the first generational university student. I'm thankful for you. You're going to pave the way for a generation that is following you. Stay strong. Your work is valuable. You are doing well. I'm thankful for you. Be blessed. Know that someone is thankful for you.
I would like to thank those who volunteer, or volunteers. I'd like to thank those who volunteer. I'd like to thank those who do things like selling the market vendors, those who make food and fresh produce available to us. I'd want to thank people who are involved in security, the security officers. I pass so many homes and I see security guards, more times than not females. I just want to thank God for them. I want to thank God for the cleaners and auxiliary staff, and even the persons who collect garbage in our community. There was garbage day in our community, and they play such a pivotal role. So I want to thank God for those who play various roles in our society. I want to thank God for communities, and communities that bond together to help each other. Just want to thank God for you all.
Let me sum up the sentiments that we feel as we are doing this recording. We figured it was it is the right time to encourage an attitude of gratitude in our nation. Dr. Hudson is on this program. I want to thank him. We want to thank him for his dedication to the assignment that he has signed up to. Thank you, sir. Keep inspiring, keep motivating, keep pressing all the systems for us to succeed. In October of 1964, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Said these words. So a student body of about 2,500 at the Oberlin College in October of 1964. He said, the time is always right to do right. John Lewis, Congressman, the late John Lewis, I think added a little bit to that. And he said, it is never wrong to do right. So it is always right to do right, if we remember that. And you don't have to have a time in which to do right. It is always the right time to do right. And even if you might have missed an occasion, it is always right to do right. Guyana, thank you. Guyana, whoever you are, ensuring that we don't litter, ensuring that we keep the place clean, ensuring that we have all the vaccines we need to develop and to achieve herd immunity. We want to say thanks to all those who made that possible, who are making it possible. And we want to encourage you wherever you live and operate, do right. God bless you. Thank you. This is Choices.
I'm Celicia on behalf of the set, reminding you that your whole life is the sum of your choices. God bless you.